You know that feeling. You've learned all the English grammar, right? You can pass the test, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But then you try to actually speak, have a conversation, and it just feels, I don't know, clunky.
Oh, absolutely. Like knowing the dance steps but stumbling on the dance floor, it's super common.
Yeah, exactly. You know the rules, but making them work smoothly in like a real situation, that's the tricky part.
It really is that gap between knowing about the language and actually using it comfortably.
Right. So that's what this deep dive is all about. We're going laser focused on bridging that gap. We've looked at some really practical stuff aimed right at intermediate learners.
Stuff that helps you move beyond just the textbook rules.
Exactly. Think of this as a shortcut to using English more naturally in your daily life. Work, shopping, travel, even just chatting online.
And the material we're drawing from really emphasizes that practical application, how to make it work for you.
Okay, let's dive in then. First big tip from the source. Learn phrases, not just single words. Why is that such a big deal?
Well, it's really about efficiency and rhythm. When you learn a whole chunk, like, can I get a coffee to go?
Right,
You're not building it piece by piece in your head.
right.
The whole unit is just there. It flows much better.
And it sounds more natural, right? It's like you said, can I get a coffee to go? Or the source also mentioned, I'm just looking, thanks, for when you're in a shop.
Exactly. Those pre-made chunks just roll off the tongue more easily.
Well,
it
yeah.
bypasses that hesitation you get when you're mentally translating or assembling words.
Makes total sense.
Okay,
Yep.
well.
Tip number 2, practice speaking out loud.
Yeah.
Every single day, even if you're alone. Why is talking to yourself so important here?
It's almost physical. Speaking uses muscles, coordination. Like playing an instrument, you need that actual practice.
Okay. Muscle memory for your mouth.
Precisely. And it builds confidence just hearing yourself produce the sounds, even if it's just describing what you're doing.
Yeah, the source gave examples like I'm brushing my teeth or, okay, I'm making breakfast now, heading out to work, like a running commentary on your life.
And doing that actively retrieves the language. You know, it cements it better than just reading passively.
What about the slightly weirder suggestion, talking to yourself in the mirror?
Yeah, it sounds odd, but it's surprisingly effective. You see your mouth moving, your expressions,
Okay.
and it helps you get used to the idea of you speaking English. Reduces that self-consciousness because, well, it's just you.
Interesting. Okay, tip 3 moves us to watching stuff. Specifically, real-life English videos, not lessons, but things like vlogs.
Right. Because textbook English and how people actually talk can be quite different.
How so?
Well, real videos, travel vlogs, interviews, food reviews, whatever, they have the pauses, the ums, the slang, the different accents. It's the language in its natural habitat, sort of.
And the advice is pretty hands-on. Listen, then repeat. Try to copy the tone, the rhythm.
Yeah, mimicry is powerful. It helps you internalize that natural flow, the music of the language, beyond just the words.
Got it. Okay, tip 4. Use English when you're out doing stuff, running errands.
This is about putting it into practice in the real world. If you're somewhere English is spoken, obviously.
Like ordering that coffee, asking for help in a store, even just a little bit of small talk with the cashier.
Exactly. Those small, low-stakes interactions are golden opportunities for practice. They add up.
But what if you're not in an English-speaking country? The source suggested, like simulating it.
Yeah, that's a smart workaround. Mentally rehearse it. Imagine ordering food, asking for directions in English.
So you're preparing yourself for when the opportunity does arise.
Precisely. It kind of primes your brain, makes you less hesitant when you do get the chance.
Cool. Number 5, keep a speaking diary. What does that involve? Recording yourself.
Just for, say, 2 minutes each evening, talk about your day, your thoughts, plans for tomorrow, whatever.
And the idea is you listen back later.
Yes. And over time, you'll actually hear the progress. Your fluency improving, maybe vocabulary, pronunciation getting better.
Wow, that's quite motivating. Like a personal progress tracker.
It really is. Great for self-awareness, seeing where you might want to focus next.
Okay, tip 6 feels like a big one. Try to actually think in English.
This is about getting away from translating everything in your head from your native language.
Which really slows you down in conversation.
Hugely. So you start small, simple thoughts. I'm tired. It's a nice day. Just directly in English.
And the source makes a really important point here.
Yeah.
You will make mistakes when you start doing this. And that's okay.
Totally okay. It's part of the process. The goal is to get the thoughts flowing in English, not to have a grammatically perfect internal monologue.
Right. Flow over perfection. especially at first.
Exactly. It frees you up.
Okay, number 7 is about preparation for specific situations. Learning the language you'll likely need.
Yeah, being proactive.
Yeah.
Think about common scenarios. Going to the doctor, checking into a hotel, making a phone call.
And then learn the key phrases, like, I have a sore throat, or I'd like to check in, or can I speak to Sarah, please?
Spot on. You equip yourself with the tools you'll need for those specific moments. Makes communication much smoother.
And the suggestion is to maybe make your own list for situations you encounter often and practice them.
Very practical. Focus your energy on what's most relevant to your life. Super efficient.
Tip 8 brings in other people. Join language exchanges or speaking clubs.
Ah, the social connection. Really important. Talking to other people, whether learners or native speakers, is invaluable.
Why specifically?
Well, you get real-time practice, immediate feedback sometimes, exposure to different ways of speaking, different accents. It makes it real.
And there are apps and websites for this now, right? To find partners.
Loads of them. And the source stresses that even short sessions, maybe just 15 minutes a day, make a big difference if you're consistent.
Consistency is key, yeah. Okay, tip 9 uses technology in a slightly different way. Send voice messages instead of texts.
This is a great sort of lower pressure way to practice speaking because it's not instant back and forth like a live call. You can think for a second, compose your thoughts in English, then speak. You can even re-record if you stumble.
Ah, I see. Practice formulating and speaking clearly without the pressure of immediate reply. And you can listen back to yourself, too.
Exactly. Good for self-correction and just getting comfortable hearing your own voice speaking English.
Makes sense. And finally, tip number 10. This feels like coming full circle. Don't aim for perfect grammar.
Yes. This is so crucial, especially when you're focused on actually speaking more. The main goal is communication, being understood.
Not necessarily having every single verb tense perfect.
Right. The source points out, even native speakers make grammatical errors in casual chat. It happens. Understanding is the priority.
That definitely takes some pressure off. Focus on getting the message across.
Absolutely. It empowers you to just speak to communicate, which is the whole point, really.
Okay, so just to quickly recap those for you listening, we covered learning phrases, not just words, practicing speaking out loud daily, watching real-life English videos,
using English during errands or simulating it, keeping that speaking diary, trying to think directly in English,
learning language for common situations, joining exchange groups or clubs, using voice messages for practice, and finally, letting go of needing perfect grammar.
It really all boils down to active use, doesn't it? Moving from knowing about English to actually doing English in everyday ways.
Exactly. So here's something for you to think about. Considering your own English journey right now, which one or maybe two of those tips really jumps out at you?
Which one feels like it could make the biggest difference for you right now?
Yeah. And how could you realistically start putting it into practice? Maybe even today or tomorrow. Is it deciding to narrate your breakfast routine out loud tomorrow?
Or finding one key phrase for ordering coffee and using it?
Whatever it is, pick something small and give it a try. And remember, you can always come back to these ideas later, add another strategy as you get more comfortable.